Hi guys. For many motion designers, head rig and facial animation is a very big problem as they do not know how to do it and where to start at all. But I will show you in this video. Rig and animate the head is not as hard work as you think, it just needs some practice. This is the result I want to achieve at the end. In this video, I will talk about rigging the character's head using the joystick script and create a head turn animation. I also talk about the facial animation and creating emotions for the face. To get better acquainted with the tools the joystick script provides you and become able to use them professionally. And also become familiar with the different methods to rig the character's head using this script. Or find the ability to rig the different objects other than the character's head, such as cars or anything else, you can get the course whose link is given in the description of this video. If you are interested in this series of tutorials, don't forget to like and subscribe and click on the bell to get notified about my next tutorials. So let's get to the training. The first thing I need is a character head in the front pose. As you see, I have created different layers for different parts of the head. From the beginning, this is the back hair, then the ears, then the head layer. The next layer is the front hair, which is within the range of the head layer. Next layer is this part of the hair. And these are the cheeks. And eyes, there are many shapes in each eye layer. A shape belongs to the eyelashes. The next shape is for this part of the eye that I made for the blink so that I can more easily create the blinking. The next layer is for the pupil and the next one is for the white of the eye. Then I have the next layer for the mouth, in which the first shape is related to this line which represents the mouth line. The next layer is related to the teeth. Next layer is for the tongue and the next layer belongs to the inside area of the mouth. Then I have a layer for the nose for which I have created such a path. And using the trim path I want to create the different modes for it. The last two layers are for the eyebrows. So the first thing I should do is to create 5 keyframes, that is 5 poses for the head. The first keyframe would be the front pose. The second keyframe would be the right view, next the left, then up view, and finally the head must go down. Let's go for creating the keyframes. Firstly, I open the properties of the layers that I need to make changes to them and create keyframes for them so that the front pose is saved in the first frame. I move to the next frame and create the right view. The X scale of the eyes and eyebrows must be set to 90 in this pose. In the next frame I must create the left view. I select the first keyframes and go the joystick and I click on Origin to paste the front pose keyframes here, then I create the left view. Then I move on to the next frame and I must create the up view now. In the next frame I create the down view. After that, I select all the keyframes and go to the joystick and click on this option in the joystick tool section. I name the joystick head turn. Then click on OK and the joystick is created. Now as you can see, by moving the joystick the head moves perfectly to and fro. There are only a few problems and that is the cheeks go out of the face area and that's not right. To solve this problem, I just need to add Set Matte Effect to the cheeks layers and then define the head layer here. Problem solved. I paste the same effect for this layer too. The next problem is that, when I move to this side, this corner of the hair comes out and I have to fix it. To do that, I enter the joysticks and select the head turn joystick and click on Unbind. In the right view, I move this part a bit further. And also, in the left view, I move this part further to fix the problem. Again, I select the keyframes and click on Bind. As you see that previous problem does not occur here anymore. Let me change the look of the joystick a little. After that, I move on to rigging the pupils. To do so, I go to the eyes layer. This belongs to the pupils, so I go this group. In the pupils group there's a group named Pupils. And there, I open its transform and create a keyframe for its position so that I can only move the pupil. As you see, when the pupil goes out of the eye zone it is no longer shown. I have made this mode using a merge path and putting its mode on intersect. I hit U key and enter the left eye. I will create 5 poses for the pupils. Then I select the keyframes and click on this option in Joysticks again. Let's name it Eye. I totally forgot about the nose changes. So, I unbind the head turn joystick. And I create a keyframe the start and end to create the different poses. Again, I select all the keyframes and click on Bind. Let's go and create different emotions for the face. To do that, I need to make keyframes for the path of the mouth shape as well as the path of the eyes, eyebrows, and ears. So, I make some keyframes for the values I want to change. This would be the first emotion of the face. In the next frame I just want to close the eyelids. To make sure the blinking is done correctly, I move the keyframes a little forward. About 10 frames. Let's have a look and see how it came out. Looks good. I go to frame 1 and I need to make that eye look like this eye as well. Okay, good. These two eyelids are a bit different and I need to make them look alike. After creating the blinking, I create some keyframes for the rest of the properties in frame 1. I move to the next frame and paste the initial keyframes here. I want to show the character's excitement here, so I edit the mouth first. And to create different mouth modes you can use the references. For example, I have found this reference from the internet. You can very easily find different references for different face emotions. Let's move to the next frame and now I want to show the sadness. I move to the next frame and I want to show the anger. I move on to the next frame and we're going to create the imagining mode for the face. Let's move to the next frame and create the fear mode for the face. Since I want the eyes to become a little bigger in this pose, and the pupils become a bit smaller, I go to the shape layer and create some keyframes for the white of the eye as well as the shapes related to the pupil. I copy these keyframes and paste them in the previous poses as well, not to face any problems. I must do the same for this eye too. After creating the different face emotions, I select all the keyframes related to the eyes, because I want to have separate sliders for controlling the different eye modes. After selecting the keyframes, I go to the slider section and click on this option to create a slider for the different modes of the eyes. I name it Eye. After creating the slider, you'll see that a null object is created here, and in Effect Controls of this null object you can control the same modes you've created for the eyes. I edit their names. Then I select the rest of the keyframes and enter the joystick. In the slider section, I create another slider. This null object is related to the face sliders. And for animation, you just need to set the angry slider to 100 and in the eye sliders also set the angry to 100, so that this mode is made for you. To animate it and create a squash and stretch for the head, I select all the layers of the head except for the head layer and parent them all to the head layer. And place the anchor point of the head layer here. Then I can easily start animating the head. To be able to also control the eyebrows when the eye blinks, you need to go to the eyebrows and in the shape transform create a keyframe for the position. Do the same for this one too. I move a frame ahead and take it 20 pixels down. I hit U key and select these two keyframes and I go to the joystick. And in the slider section I create a slider for the eyebrows. The point you need to know is that when you set a mode to 100, the other modes must be at 0. If the two modes are at 100, the face will be disfigured, so, I need to set the other modes to 0. You can go on and animate different modes for the character's head. Just note that if you want to change the sliders into UI sliders, you just need to select one of the null objects. For example, I select the eye emotion null object, then I go the joystick and in the slider, click on Create from the UI slider section. As you see, it has created a UI slider for each one of the sliders. I bring them here and as you see these are the sliders with the same names I chose before. I go to the blink slider. Here you can delete the left part of your slider by disabling this option. And you can go to the origin layer of each one of these sliders and change your slider however you like. And just like what I did here, you can change your sliders however you want.